agricultural areas in upstate New York as well. I visited farms in my home state that were devastated by flooding, ruined for the entire season, and would take maybe a full year to rebuild. I know what's happening to your farms across your state. I know you've lost loved ones, and it is crippling. But it's one of the reasons why we deeply need to take on global climate change, which I will talk about later.
Hi, Senator.
Thank you for coming.
Hi, thanks so much. My name is Matthew Peirce. I live in, sorry, there we go. I live in Urbandale. Urbandale. Okay. I wanted to ask a question. You had alluded to this earlier about our flooding and about climate change. So you said more on that later, so I hope later is now.
You bet. I was waiting for someone to ask.
All right, excellent. So we know catastrophic climate change is destroying our climate and killing people. Yes. So people are dying. So I think we need to approach that with respect for the people who have already died because of these climate disasters. And we have 12 years, 11 and a half maybe, to address this. So we need 100% just transition that includes everyone, right? And that is 100% renewable energy for 100% of the people, right? And a jobs guarantee, which falls quite a bit. I don't know if anybody remembers the CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps, and the New Deal. And so we need a new Green Deal. New Green Deal.
Green New Deal.
Green New Deal. Yes, I know I screwed that up. But I believe you're supporting that in some way. But I think we can bring all of these education and work and jobs and all of that together.
Yep.
So I think it needs to be number one. Can it be your number one?
It is my number one. Now let me tell you about it. So let's just start with the truth, and we'll start with the flooding. I don't know how many lives have been lost in Iowa. The last article I read, it was 4.
Oh, yeah.
It was 4.
Yeah.
And I was a senator when we had Superstorm Sandy.
Yep.
And it's devastating to visit a community that has lost so much. When I went to see Staten Island, it was decimated. The worst part of my life was when I met with two parents actually, who lost their children. And this was their story.
Right.
The husband was a first responder, so he had to go save others. The wife was at home, and he called her and said, "Honey, the storm's getting worse. Leave the house and go to your mother's." She was in Brooklyn, I think. She got into the minivan. She started to drive with their 2 little kids, 2 little boys. And there was a 10-foot swell that came over the coast on Staten Island, and it came over the road, and it stopped her minivan. And so she got out, she grabbed her boys in her arms, she tried to get to higher land, and the water took them away. She lost her boys. It's devastating. That's what's happened all across America. We saw lives lost in California with the wildfires. We've seen flooding, we've seen tornadoes, we've seen droughts.
Right.
This is real. It is truly the gravest threat to humanity that exists. It is an urgent threat. We have the science now. We know what a crisis this is. So we need a solution that is as bold and big as the problem that we are trying to solve.
Right.
And so the Green New Deal is a great first step. And let me tell you about it. The Green New Deal is a platform of ideas, but it's really just 3 things. It's really just 3 things. And the beauty of it is all 3 of those things are bipartisan things. This is actually something we can get done. The first part is infrastructure. Rebuild our infrastructure. Why not build the roads, the bridges, the sewers, the high-speed rail, the rail lines, all of the type of basic infrastructure that we're desperate for, mass transit, rural broadband. We need it. We need it everywhere. That's bipartisan. The second idea is green jobs. We want to inspire our youth to go into these green industries. Why not make one of those public service jobs green industries, just as you recommended in the New Deal? Why not say to America's youth, we want you to go into STEM subjects. We want science, technology, engineering, math. We want you to learn these technologies so you can then be the innovator of the future, so you can be the one to solve how we do biofuels, how we do wind, solar, geothermal, how we do tidal, how we do every new kind of energy source we can find, battery technology. And ask those young people, ask our scientists, ask our engineers that we want to do this in the next 10 years. You know, it reminds me a lot of John F. Kennedy.
That's right.
When John F. Kennedy said, let's put a man on the moon in the next 10 years, he said, not because it's easy, but because it's hard. It will be a measure of how great we are, how innovative we are, how entrepreneurial we are, our excellence as a nation. Why not say the same thing to today's people, to Americans everywhere? Say, why not have a green economy in 10 years? Not because it's easy, but because it's hard. As a measure of our success, as a measure of our greatness as a nation, as a measure of our ability to solve big problems, because we are people that like to solve big problems. And the third issue is clean air, clean water. Who in this room doesn't want clean air and clean water? Who doesn't want to turn on their faucet and know that the water coming out is safe for their children to drink? It is an outrage that we have so much water pollution all across America. I come from a state where we have legacy pollution because of manufacturing. We have PFOA and PFAS in our water. So does places like Michigan. So do places like New Hampshire. You guys have an issue with nitrates. It's an issue that has to be addressed, and our farmers don't have the money. So why not say, we're going to help you. We're going to help you make sure that the water that you drink, no matter where you live, is clean, that the air that you breathe, no matter where you live, is clean. And you've got to take on institutional racism when it comes to environmental justice. And I mean, you really clear about this. Just look at our history. Look at my state. Look at Robert Moses. Look at the way he did the highways straight through communities of color, straight through low-income communities. And so now you go to the Bronx today, the highest asthma rate in the state because of the way the highways go. If you look at clean water and you look at degradation of water, almost invariably it's in a poorer community. So let's really call it like it is. Everyone deserves clean air and clean water. So that's all the Green New Deal is. And it's got this aspirational goal of net zero carbon emissions in 10 years. Now, people say, oh, how can you possibly get there? Well, you know what? John F. Kennedy didn't know if he could put a man on the moon in 10 years. It didn't matter. He wanted us to aspire to it. And you know what? He did it. So we should do the same. Why not aspire to it? Now, to help the Green New Deal, we should add one more thing. We should put a price on carbon. And the reason why this is important is because it allows market forces to work for us.
Right.
When you tell a scientist, an innovator, a new company, an inventor, that you will pay lower taxes if you invent out of this problem, if you're the one who figures out how to, let's say, improve biofuels. Maybe you're the one who figures out how to actually make cellulosic ethanol more energy efficient and more clean by using switchgrass or algae or farm waste. All of those things are possible, but it needs research and development, it needs investment, it needs focus and attention. That's what you can do, and you say you get a tax benefit if you're focusing on that, and if you're a polluter and you just want to pollute, and you're just going to keep polluting our air and our water, you're going to have to pay higher taxes.
Yeah.
That's how it happens. You incentivize your behavior. That's how market forces work. So I am with you on taking on global climate change as the huge threat to humanity that it truly is. We can do this. We are bold enough. We are brave enough. And just remember for a moment what it's like to be brave. Remember when this country was brave. Remember when this country had a president who was brave. Remember when you had a country where you weren't afraid to send a man to the moon. You weren't afraid to welcome refugees.
Right.
The Statue of Liberty stands in New York Harbor. She stands there with a beacon of light and hope, her torch. She says, send us, you're tired and you're poor, you're hungry. Send us your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. That's what she stands for. But under this president, he's afraid. He is afraid. He has spewed fear and hate and division and darkness all across this country. He maligns John McCain.
Oh.
That is a man of fear. That is not a man who is brave. We should be brave again. That's what makes this country great. When we are brave enough to do the right thing, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard.
And we have about 100 people around us today. We're talking about climate change.
Thank you for doing it.
Maybe you heard
Thank you for
something.
doing it.
But
Yes.
we'd love to have you. I love the fact that you said it's your number one issue. But will you start talking about it like as the priority that it is?
Yes, absolutely.
Good.
Okay.
We need that. James is the only one doing that so far.
No, it's a number one issue for me. It's in my ad. It's my first campaign ad.
Good.
As the bold ideas that we need to actually
That we
do.
showed today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in our commercial.
Great.
All right.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Green New Deal is in our commercial.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys,
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
It's a great answer.
Thank you.
That was a good one.
Thank you.